Two candidates write very similar essays. One gets band 6, the other band 7. The difference is not luck, and it's not handwriting. In this video, I'll explain IELTS band descriptors, the exact criteria examiners use to decide your score. Hello, my name is April Ampong, and I'm an instructor at IELTS Niner Review Center, an international standard IELTS training system that helps learners progress from beginner level to band 7 to 9 in the most time-efficient way. In the previous video, we learned what IELTS band scores mean. Now we go one level deeper because band scores come directly from band descriptors. If you don't understand these descriptors, you're studying blindly. Band descriptors are the official marking criteria used by IELTS examiners. They clearly describe what performance looks like at each band level, from band 1 to band 9. When examiners assess your performance, they do not ask, is this essay good? Or does this answer sound nice? Instead, they ask one key question. Which band descriptor does this performance match? That means your score is not based on opinion or comparison with other test takers. It's based entirely on how closely your performance meets the official band descriptors. This is why understanding the criteria is the fastest way to improve your IELTS score. Let's start with band descriptors for IELTS writing. In IELTS writing, examiners assess your work using 4 official criteria. Each criterion measures a different aspect of your writing. First, let's talk about task response. Task response checks whether you fully answer the question. For example, if the task asks you to discuss both views and give your own opinion, but you discuss only one viewpoint, your task response score will be limited, even if your English is strong. Second is cohesion and coherence. This criterion looks at how well your ideas are organized and connected. For example, if your ideas are logical, paragraphs are clear, and linking words like however, for example, and as a result are used naturally, your score improves. But if ideas jump randomly or paragraphs are unclear, your band will drop. Third is lexical resource. Lexical resource refers to your vocabulary range and accuracy. For example, using precise words like significant increase instead of big change and avoiding repetition shows a higher level of vocabulary. However, using advanced words incorrectly can lower your score. Fourth, grammatical range and accuracy. This criterion assesses your sentence structures and grammatical control. For example, using a mix of simple, compound, and complex sentences accurately demonstrates a higher band. But frequent grammar errors that affect meaning will reduce your score. Each criterion is scored separately. That means strong vocabulary cannot compensate for a weak task response. To achieve a high writing band, you must meet the band descriptors in all 4 criteria. For IELTS speaking, it also is assessed using 4 official criteria. So they are fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. So first, let's talk about fluency and coherence. This criterion measures how smoothly you speak and how well your ideas connect. For example, if you can speak continuously without long pauses, organize your ideas logically, and use linking words like first, because, and, for example, your score increases. Frequent hesitation or disconnected ideas will lower your band. Second, lexical resource. This refers to the range and accuracy of your vocabulary. For example, using top appropriate words and expressions naturally is more important than using very advanced vocabulary. Memorized or unnatural phrases are easily noticed by examiners. Third, grammatical range and accuracy. This criterion looks at how well you control sentence structures. For example, using a mix of simple and complex sentences accurately shows a higher band. However, consistent grammar errors that affect meaning will reduce your score. Finally, pronunciation. Pronunciation is about being clear and easy to understand, not about having a perfect accent. For example, clear word stresses, sentence stresses, and natural intonation help the examiner understand you easily. Strong pronunciation supports communication, while unclear speech makes understanding difficult. IELTS speaking is not about memorizing answers. Examiners listen for clear ideas, logical development, and natural communication. The more you sound naturally, the higher your speaking score will be. Here's why many candidates get stuck at band 6. So they focus on wrong things. So they use big words instead of clear ideas. For example, a candidate memorizes advanced vocabulary like ubiquitous or ameliorate, but fails to clearly explain their main point. The examiner values clarity of meaning, not impressive words. They use complex grammar instead of accurate grammar. For example, a candidate tries long, complicated sentences but makes frequent tenses or agreement errors. A simple, correct sentence scores higher than a complex sentence full of mistakes. They try to speak fast instead of speaking clearly. For example, a candidate rushes through answers, mispronounces words, and does not organize ideas logically. Speaking slightly slower with clear pronunciation leads to better understanding and a higher band score. Band score and above is not about perfection. It's about control. Control of ideas, control of grammar, control of vocabulary, control of pronunciation. When you communicate clearly and accurately, you move beyond band 6. Now you know how examiners decide your score. So in the next video, we'll look at something just as important, the IELTS test format and timing, and where most candidates lose points before the test even ends. See you in the next video.